Hello everyone and welcome to the Budget Brewery. Today we have a budget take on a standard archetype that did very well in Pro Tour Kaladesh, and that is Jeskai Control. This deck is actually very similar to the list played by Carlos Romao among others in the finals, but it's got some modifications that I don't think really weaken the deck very much. So let's talk through the deck. And first, I want to talk in terms of the finishers. So first, we have Jace, Unraveler of Secrets. Just a very strong card, lots of card advantage, can bounce something, and the ultimate is almost unbeatable. We're also playing Fevered Visions, which is the big difference between this build and other builds of Jeskai Control. And when I've played this deck, Fevered Visions, if you can resolve it, Fevered Visions will just kind of gradually wear away at your opponent, meaning that your counter spells, you basically just have to prolong the game so that they start dying. It'll keep refilling your hand with counter spells. So Fevered Visions I think is a great addition to Jeskai Control. Then we have two Dynavolt Towers because we are playing a lot of spells. So Dynavolt Tower, great at pinging down players. You can activate it once every couple of turns. It's a way to use energy generated by things like Glimmer of Genius. And it can also take down creatures, so just a useful all-around card in the spells deck. For creatures, we're playing one Archangel of Asin. This card just has flash, so you can resolve it at the end of your opponent's turn if they're tapped out, untap with it, and get in a big hit. You're unlikely to flip Avacyn in this deck. However, it's still a powerful attacker and hard to deal with the turn it comes down, and it can come down to protect your other threats. Cataclysmic Gearhulk, just a strong card, 4/5 Vigilance, and when it enters, each player chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, and planeswalker, and sacrifices all their other permanents of those types. So, great at sweeping away the board against something like an aggro deck that wants to build up a lot of creatures or go wide. And then you can just keep the Gearhulk start getting in for 4. So Gearhulk, again, just a strong creature threat. Finally, one copy of Thing in the Ice. We saw Shode Yasuoka use this very effectively in Pro Tour Kaladesh. Basically enters with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you take an ice counter off. And then when you remove all of them, it flips into Awoken Horror, which is just 7/8, bounces all other creatures, and that will close out the game really quickly. So again, really strong in the spells deck. And then we're playing Control, so we've got a lot of card draw, 3 Anticipates, 3 Glimmer of Genius, and 2 Tormenting Voice. Tormenting Voice is great because you can discard Fiery Temper if you get them in hand. Again, Control, so counter spells. 2 main deck Ceremonious Rejection. People are playing a lot of artifacts and colorless spells between vehicles, playing Smuggler's Copter, Temur Aetherworks, which is a big deck in the format, or even against opposing control decks where it will counter Void Shatter, it can hit Dynavolt Tower. A lot of colorless cards floating around in Kaladesh Standard right now, so I'm running 2 copies main board. 3 Negates and 3 Void Shatters, just good counter spells. Also got a bunch of removal, 3 copies of Fiery Temper, which again you can discard with Tormenting Voice, or often I've just discarded, I had one game where I discarded 2 copies of Fiery Temper to hand size to kill an opposing creature and send some burn at them. 4 Galvanic Bombardment, just quality instant speed removal. 2 Immolating Glare, again, just good effective removal for a low cost. And then Radiant Flames, there's a lot of aggro going on, a lot of decks looking to go wide, and Radiant Flames really strong against those decks. You can cast it pretty reliably, X3. In addition, Radiant Flames will not kill any of your creatures. All your creatures have at least 4 toughness, or Cataclysmic Gearhulk has 5. In terms of mana base, 1 Aether Hub, 4 Evolving Wilds, some tap lands, some basics. Pretty simple mana base. In the sideboard, 3 Weaver of Lightning, great at blocking Smuggler's Copter and killing tokens or things like 3/1s. Just a good card, in particular against aggro, but also against any deck kind of seeking to go wide, get tokens. 2 Summary Dismissal, really good against the Temur Aetherworks deck, or Green-Black Delirium for countering Emrakul's and the Emrakul triggers. 2 Pore Over the Pages, it's another good card draw spell. 1 Fumigate as an additional Wrath. Fragmentize, great again for killing Smuggler's Copter, Dynavolt Tower, Aetherworks Marvel. 2 more Ceremonious Rejection to deal with artifacts or colorless spells. The 4th Glimmer of Genius, and 1 more copy of Radiant Flames. So that is Budget Brewery Jeskai Control. Thank you for watching.